Hello, everyone, and welcome to the leadership show called My Great Aunt EDNA. The show speaks about excellence, doing things the right way, no shortcuts, and accountability. I'm your host, Mac McNeil, and today our special guest is Nicole Tinson, the founder and CEO of HBCU 20 by 20. Nicole is on Forbes magazine's 30 Under 30 for social entrepreneurship. And using the words purpose-driven and dynamic is not enough to explain it. You'll have to hear for yourself. Enough said. Let's get to it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of My Great Aunt EDNA. This is Mac McNeil, your host, and I have a really special guest today, Nicole Tinson. Before I introduce Nicole, I'd really love to tell you the story about how I met Nicole. So I'm on an airplane coming back from Washington, D.C. at a speaking engagement for Jobs for American Graduates, and I'm sitting down. I'm a little tired, had a couple of whiskeys, I'm going to be honest with you, so I was feeling a little loose. And then this young lady sits down next to me. She has a big bag of Chick-fil-A, right? And so the aroma is just all up in my nose. I'm like, what's going on with this right here? So, I engage her in conversation. Long story short, turned out to be one of the greatest conversations I've had on a plane ever. So I'm really excited that I was able to meet Nicole. And after I introduce you to her, you will see why this was such a great encounter. So let me introduce you to Nicole Tinson. And so to tell you a little bit about Nicole, Nicole is the founder and chief executive officer of HBCU 20 by 20, an organization that places historically black colleges and university students and graduates into companies like Accenture, SpaceX, and Intel. She was named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 Social Entrepreneurs list in 2020. Since 2017, the organization has placed more than 750 HBCU students and alumni into career opportunities and partnered with 43 employers. Nicole is an advocate, speaker, writer, and strategist, and I can speak for the strategist piece during our conversation on the plane. She also has a Bachelor of Arts in Science from Dillard University and a Master of Arts in Science from Yale University, so an outstanding resume. And with that, I will introduce you all to Nicole Tinson and turn it over to you, Nicole.
Wow, what an introduction. First and foremost, thank you for having me. I'm happy that Chick-fil-A stirred up some conversation. It's just an honor to be able to be on with you today, just to talk about my experience for the listeners to learn and the viewers to learn a little bit more about me, the work that we're looking to do, the impact that we've made, and honestly, just thinking about the future. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for joining us. I'm really excited about this interview. And so tell us a little bit about your organization and what you focus on.
Absolutely. So HBCU 20 by 20, as you mentioned, was founded September 2017 with the goal to close the access and opportunity gap. As you mentioned, I attended Dillard University and HBCU in New Orleans, Louisiana, and from there went to Yale for graduate school and saw the ways that companies engage the students in Yale and realized they never came to my HBCU. So it was something that bothered me. I grew up in a household where I was taught not to complain, but to create solutions. And HBCU 20 by 20 became that solution for me. I think that with the work that we've been able to do, the people that we've been able to reach, we've been living really truthfully to our mission, operating intentionally by working with companies who share our same commitment, who value our vision as well. So to say that, it's only been 5 years, the work that we've been able to do seems like it's been a lifetime, but we're excited about what all is to come. I feel like it's really just the beginning.
So am I. I love the fact that you do this, and I don't think I mentioned this to you on the plane, but When I was a VP with Bank of America, part of my role was I used to go out to the MBA conference every year, the Black MBA conference. And I was always super impressed with the students from HBCU students. Of course, I'm Black, but I'm being completely honest, in the conversations that I've had with those students comparatively to some of the students from other schools, HBCU students just seemed like they were a level ahead, but the opportunities weren't there. So after I met you and I found out what you did, I was amazed. Like, this is awesome. Finally, someone to bridge that gap between the talent pool and the corporate pool. So outstanding. I love the fact that you're doing this.
Thank you. I think that what I'm doing isn't new. I often say that diversity, equity, and inclusion work isn't new. As far as I remember, Jesse Jackson has been doing this work since the 70s. So
Yes.
So it's just a continuation, and to be able to think about it through a new lens and offer a new perspective, just to the industry or just to the world in general, has been, me walking in my purpose and me really fulfilling what I feel I'm supposed to be on earth for.
I love it. I love it. So let's get into some of the formal questions that I have for you here. So the first one is, you were recognized by Forbes magazine as a 30 under 30 for social entrepreneurs list. Congratulations. I'm sure you've heard that many times. But can you describe what that recognition actually means for our listeners?
Absolutely. So I always like to start with the idea about what Forbes 30 under 30 actually means. It recognizes young professionals, ideally entrepreneurs within different industries. So I made the social entrepreneurship category. We are a social enterprise. You have people in media, you have the music, so I like to say, like, I'm looking at my Forbes kind of like plaque that they sent me. 21 Savage was on my cover. So just to give like a glimpse, Megan Thee Stallion made my class. But it's really intended to recognize those who are game changers or trailblazers within their field. And for me, making the Forbes 30 under 30 list, it meant a lot. I'm from South Central Los Angeles, California. Not that many of us make the Forbes list. And I think, yeah, and I think, when I thought about like what it meant to be a business owner, what it meant to be an entrepreneur, I knew that for me, making the Forbes list was something that was important. I had put that out into the world. I worked with my head down, also with my head up too, and really just set out to make a difference. And fortunately enough for me, enough people had nominated me to the list, and they ultimately selected me to be on the list. There are very few HBCU grads who make the Forbes list, and also very few Black people who make the list. And that's something I've actively been working with Forbes on, as well as just figuring out how they can diversify those lists for the different industries. But it definitely means a lot. Making that list certainly took our organization to another level. For so long we had been knocking on doors, and we got to a point where we, like, so many people knock on our doors now, like, we kind of can't open every single door. So it's interesting what, the Forbes 30 under 30 recognition was able to provide, not only to me, but to our organization to expand our work.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have when you can't open all your doors because there's so many opportunities. That's growth. That's what many people aspire to. So congratulations on that. And I see you now, taking little selfies. And I saw that one right there with Cory Booker.
Some of everybody, some of everybody.
Yeah,
I think it comes with the territory. I think last year they invited me to an event in Abu Dhabi. So it was their first Forbes 30/50. So they have a 50 over 50 list with women, and I was invited for International Women's Day. So Hillary Clinton was there, Tyra Banks was there. So like, like just being able to be in like a space with successful women, is just it lends into what Forbes has been able to pour into me, among other things.
That's amazing. Amazing. Congratulations again. All right. So my next question is, some people may think that your leadership impact is primarily focused in the Black community when they see HBCU. So has there been any stigma perceptions that you've had to get beyond in order to help the non-Black community understand the overall national impact of your business initiatives?
Absolutely. I think that, and I just thinking about even my own experience in undergrad and graduate school, my experience is very Black. From the time I was 15, I joined the NAACP, so I was organizing at 15 years old in LA. Interned through the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, did a fellowship through the UNCF for an organization called the Black Alliance for Educational Options. So my resume is very, very Black. It's very Black. And I think that it's because I understand the need for our community to have the resources that we normally aren't given or provided access to. So in the beginning, having to explain what HBCUs were to companies, and this is 2017, this is before George Floyd, before companies began to care about the Black community in a different way.
Right.
So we often would have conversations and they go, "Oh, I visited Howard." And I'm like, there's 101 HBCUs. How are you visiting? It's HBCUs with an S. So how like, let's have a real conversation. So a lot of the work we were doing in the beginning was raising awareness about HBCUs and why they were relevant, why it's important to tap into the talent pool. And fortunately enough, now we don't have to do as much explanation. But for us, being able to just shed light on like those the Hidden Figures, that movie was so important. They went to HBCUs, but the hidden figures that are at every HBCU. So whether it's Alcorn State or the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff or FAMU or Dillard University, there's amazing talent everywhere, and it's something that we have made a point to focus on to make sure that everyone knows about all the talent that exists at all the HBCUs. But even beyond that, what we have found is students who don't attend HBCUs are interested in our organization. So we have students from the University of Michigan, Ohio State, UNC Chapel Hill who have participated in our program, students at Princeton who have participated in our program. So I think that what we're finding is that we're open. We don't discriminate. We want everyone to be able to have access to the opportunities needed to be successful. So whether they attend an HBCU or not, what we're finding is we're opening up a little bit more to that. And, we're also starting up a new initiative, the application, where we'll be focused, not solely on the Black community, but also the Brown community as well, making sure they also know about HBCUs and they have access to HBCUs as well, and then also the opportunities that exist too.
That's amazing. And I hadn't actually thought that far to think that, other Black students from some of the historical schools would be interested, but absolutely they would, because you're a direct conduit to opportunities.
Absolutely. And when I think about my experience at Yale, I spent a lot of time at the House, which is the Afro American Cultural Center at Yale, and students really struggled there. The Black students struggled in finding career opportunities because when the large consulting firms are coming to recruit students, they aren't coming necessarily to look for Black students. So being able to be an open door for those students as well, to have access to participate in our fellowship programs or get connected to professionals through our mock interview program, also has been a way for us to continue to not only lead by example, but to serve the communities in which we say we truly care about.
I love it. I love it. All right. So my next question is, how has your ability to network with other leaders influenced your overall ability to accomplish your goals?
Oh, so networking is like probably one of the most important things. I tell people I network everywhere. I network on a plane.
You do. Yes, you do. While eating Chick-fil-A. Yes.
Yeah, so I understand the value in people. I think that there's something that everyone offers to this world, and I make it my mission to speak to everyone. So whether it's the janitor, whether it's the person in fast food who's serving the Chick-fil-A, I'm going to spark up a conversation with them. And what I have seen is either there is a way where I'm able to assist them, or maybe I'm learning something and they're able to assist me. But it's been really helpful. Being able to navigate any room in any space is one of my areas of forte. I think that coming from South Central Los Angeles, I didn't have much, so I know the importance of leaning in and stepping into any room with intention, with confidence, and understanding, like, that there's something to gain from me being in this space. So I brought Michelle Obama to be my commencement speaker at Dillard, just through networking.
Outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's outstanding.
it's like for me, I'm just like, okay, well, what else is there? Like, like spoken to Jay-Z, like I've like it's been like it was Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye, and Kim all sitting next to each other, but I spoke to Jay-Z. Like that was important for me to network with Jay-Z. So when I think about like the importance of just speaking to people, I'm like scared money don't make no money, that concept, but then also connecting with people, whomever they are, can help me ultimately achieve whatever goal I'm looking to accomplish.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, so we said Forbes 30 under 30. There's a number in there. So, how has ageism impacted the perception of your leadership aptitude?
Oh, it's certainly, I like think about the beginning where people were like, again, Jesse Jackson's been doing this since the 70s, before you were even born, like 30 years before you were even born, almost. And, like, who are you? Like, I got a lot of that. Like, who are you to come in here and tell us what to do?
Yeah,
But I think that over time, when we've been able to allow our work to speak for itself, people have come to us, that same concept. We can't open every door now, and I think that that's just a testament to what we've been able to do. Being effective is something that's really important for us. Quality over quantity is something that's also incredibly important for me. And I think that leading through my work has allowed people to bypass like my age. So it certainly was a thing in the beginning, though. Like, I got that a lot. Like, so how long have you been doing this? Or, like, where did you say you worked before? Like that's those kind of questions. But I think that again, as we've allowed our rapport, in a way, our business rapport, to speak for itself, I haven't had to encounter like my age being a problem anymore. But it was in the beginning.
yeah, I'm sure it was. So, I'm thinking, I don't know if this is sure, but I'm thinking that now you probably have people who think your age is actually a benefit. Hey, she's young, she can relate, she can understand. And so, do you get those kind of things coming to you?
Oh, absolutely. And I lead and lean into that. My ability to connect with students like helps us a lot. I'm going to show up to campus with like, maybe I might show up with red bottoms if I'm doing a presentation, or I might show up with J's, like, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they're going to respect that. I'm not going to speak like as professionally as I would if I were in a meeting. I'm going to hit them with like, yes, whatever they want, like how they're speaking. I get it. I'm listening to the same kind of music they're listening to. So if we're pulling a DJ on campus, we're listening to Young Dolph on campus. Like, like it just is what it is. We're listening to Megan Thee Stallion on campus,
yeah,
and
yeah.
City Girls and Doja Cat and Doechii and
Doja.
whomever else is popular.
I'm,
So
I'm, I'm all about that Doja right there, boy. I'm feeling it. Yeah, yeah. All right, so getting more professional now. How would you describe excellence in your own words?
Ooh. Excellence is understanding that mistakes can happen, but it's up to you to push through and figure out a way to perfect them so that they don't happen again. Excellence is only, for me, achieved through struggle and revelation. I think that for me, uh, just I, excellence just isn't an option. Like, it's the only option for me. I think that I've always known that. I grew up trained as a dancer in ballet, modern, and jazz, where you're always competing, right? You're always competing for that solo. You're always competing to be in front, to be seen, to be visible. So excellence was embedded like early on in life, and I think that being able to apply that into business has certainly helped. Oftentimes, when companies come to us, they come to us after they've gone to someone else, and it may not have worked. And they come to us and they find like, oh, well, this is what we were looking for, and it's those renewed partnerships and those renewed contracts that let me know, okay, we're on the right path. We're walking in excellence. We're able to deliver something not only for our partners but for our community, where they're able to benefit from the work that we're able to do. So, for me, excellence is the only option. There isn't anything else other than being able to put our best foot forth, and just learning. And that's the other thing, learning is important in that journey towards excellence too.
So I really love the fact that you started out by saying that you can make some mistakes, with excellence. And it's part of the way it's described in my book, and that excellence is not perfection. And some people get it confused. It's not perfection. It's not meant to be perfection. It's meant to be the journey and the spirit of how you do things to get to where you want to go. So, and then also, I love the fact that you said it's my only option. I don't have any other options. It's what I do. It's what I have to do. Love that spirit about it. My last question for you, and this is my staple question that I ask every single guest on the show. And this is, as a leader in today's environment, 2023,
Whew.
what one or two things just piss you off that you wish you could change?
Whew.
Yeah, take a breath, because we had a little bit of this conversation on the plane. So yeah, tell me about it.
There's so many things though. Um, oh, I'm almost like at like a standstill. And it's funny because you shared these questions with me in advance and I had an answer. And now that you're asking it, I'm like, now, because I think that like it changes so much. I think that this is one of my favorite quotes is by James Baldwin, to be a Negro in this country and be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage. Because you understand, if you have an understanding, that there is so much placed against our community, and trying to figure out ways to solve it intentionally can be very taxing, but then on the opposite end, ignoring it makes you feel like you're neglecting, or for me, it makes me feel like I'm neglecting like my obligation or my duty for being on earth. I know that this is a fairly new story, but again, I'm from LA, and a 31-year-old was just killed in LA by the LAPD, and when I think about violence against Black people, like I think that that's something that just pisses me off more than anything else. But the idea that this 31-year-old teacher, he's an educator, he's educating the future, calls the police and, for an accident, he's calling for help and ends up, in a chokehold and ends up tased and ends up having a heart attack and dying, it's scary, like that. It's scary because when I think about the future, what does it mean to be Black in America? What does it mean to need to call for someone for help? And I think that on the opposite end, I want to be that help for our community, in figuring out what we can do. So I know that that's just like a microcosm of kind of like what that our Black experience is. But I know that that's something that really pisses me off. I spend a lot of time organizing within the Black community. So I organized one of the largest marches in LA, so the Millions March LA. I did that in 2016, where we had 500,000 people show up. I've gotten a man off of death row organizing off Twitter. So just, hey, everyone, call the governor of Missouri's office, call the attorney general's office. Like, let's call, because there's proof that this man didn't kill this person and he should not be executed. And it works. So, for me, being able to create solutions is something that's important. But it just sucks that we have these problems. And the last thing, on my flight back from Ghana to America, I watched Get Out. And I rewatched it. I was late to the movie theater when I originally saw it, so I missed the beginning where Lakeith Stanfield's character actually gets kidnapped in the beginning, and I missed that part. Okay. It connected the dots, like, oh, he got kidnapped, and okay, this is why he's here. And then I began to do research. Like, once I was like, hold on, wait a minute, Black people make up 13% of the country, but 34% of all missing cases. It just, those are the kinds of things that piss me off. And I'm just like, what can we do? The answer isn't for me, okay, well, people said, go back home then, go back to Africa. I hear that a lot. Well, just leave, if you're not happy here. But I think that there's more work that needs to be done. And I just want to be a part of that. I can't just be upset or pissed about what's going on. So for me, trying to strategize, that strategy piece is really important, figuring out what else can we do to make sure that not only our community is protected, but then on the opposite end, we're able to thrive and be successful too.
Passion and purpose just bounces off of you. I mean, that is you. And I know I said this to you on the plane, but I have a feeling you're going to do some great things. You've already done some great things, but I have a feeling you're not done. You're not even close to being done. So it was a pleasure to meet you. I'm really excited and thankful that you decided to join My Great Aunt EDNA's show. But I want to turn it over to you. Any last minute words that you'd like to say to the audience out there?
No, absolutely. I think the most important thing is, figure out what your purpose in life is. I think that we all have purpose. There's a reason for us being on this earth. You just got to lean into it. It's in you. Don't be scared. Just step out on faith. That's something else that's really important for me. My faith journey has helped me figure out where I want to be, what I want to do, how I want to show up in the world as my best self. So just tap into that. I think that that's the most important thing. And then from there, just create a plan. I have a plan for the next 20 years, and I'm like, okay, well, I might need a plan 20 more years after that. So
I love it. I love it. So with that, I say thank you. Appreciate your time. Continue to do great things. For the listeners out there, we're going to put her information up on the screen towards the end of the show, so don't hit the stop button yet. You can reach out to her. As you can see, she's an influence. She networks. Great speaking. So reach out to her and help her cause. So with that, I say thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. And I want to thank our very special guest, Nicole Tinson of HBCU 20 by 20. Nicole is powerhouse in motion. So if you know of any corporations out there that are looking for top talent from historically Black colleges and universities, Nicole should be your first stop. Her information is up on the screen, so get connected and learn how she can help your organization grow in the right way. And I also want to remind you about my book coming out in March of 2023 called My Great Aunt EDNA, The Golden Girl of Leadership. It's available wherever books are sold, so make sure to get your copy. And also, please subscribe to this channel so that you can get updates from other great leaders from all around the world that can give you bite-sized nuggets of wisdom to help you in your own leadership journey. And with that, I say thank you. May your week be excellent, and God bless.